Nate, you impressed me with the technical thing. You're there. You've been eating your chicken wings. You've been drinking your cold one and having a good time. And so I am going to. You didn't know I was going to have you do this. I have said everything I'm going to say. Downtown Bruno will do me the honor, and he will close the show today, and hopefully he'll remember from Dave Brown and Lance Russell how they used to do it. Downtown Bruno is going to get us off the air here tonight. Bruno, thank you. Love you, man.
Love you. And hey, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Thanks for the questions and the comments. And hey, hello to people I've worked with in the past, such as the great Captain Ivan Rothstein, the great Terrence T-Bone Ward, the great referee Joey Lynn, who is a super guy as well. God bless each and every one of y'all. And tune in next time. And from Fort Duquesne Boulevard to Walls, Mississippi, it's me, Downtown Bruno, too sweet to be sour, the man of the hour, the tower of power. I done walked that barbed wire fence barefooted. Been bad, been good. Dallas, Vegas, and Hollywood. Got a 45 pistol on a 38 frame. I ain't scared of nobody. Remember my name. Downtown, good looking Bruno. It's like Mama says. It bees that way sometimes. Over and out.
Talking Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hill and special guests.
We are on the road tonight to remember. Saturday night, September the 21st. The meet and greet starts at 3:30. The tribute, the rivalry for the ages, Bill Dundee and Jerry Lawler, plus the 2024 class of the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. It will be a night to remember, and you need to get your tickets now because this is a once-in-a-lifetime type of event loaded with Memphis wrestling legends. The meet and greet starts at 3:30 in the afternoon. You can order your tickets now by scanning that QR code. Hey, this is a special show. We are on the road. Al Tuttle, good to hear from you, and Andrew and Mike and Thomas and everybody watching Talking Memphis Wrestling today. We're 18 days away. We are 18 days away from the great event in Jackson, Tennessee, and we have a commercial, and we have 30 seconds that will get you excited about this big event. So here we go to Michael St. John and Adam Dunn's great put together producing job that he did. This is a fantastic spot as we watch now. Roll 'em.
Remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, The Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Alrighty now, yellow again everybody. Hey Richard Harrington, my man, what is going on with you? We got a big show. Hey Frank Seaton, I'm sorry I missed you the other day in Jonesboro. I just go, unless I have a show, I go to bed at 7 o'clock at night, and that's what I was doing. Of course, Thomas is here, and PJ's here, and she's in Thailand. People from all over the world watch Talking Memphis Wrestling. It's so exciting to be able to do this show with you guys. So it's exciting to have Downtown Bruno as my guest last night on the Randy Hale Show. Very special edition. You saw a tease of it during the open of this show. In just a minute, we have co-host Michael St. John in the house, and at 30 minutes after, from PG-13, they're being, I almost said indicted, inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. PG-13, another man that's going to be inducted in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, and that's that picture now. So I want to bring in from Arab, Alabama. We missed him last week for sure, 100%, but we're tickled to death, we're thrilled to death, and I am just going to ask him, first of all, it's someone that looks in the mirror every single day in the month of September of 2024, as we are 18 days away from the big day. What do you think, Michael St. John, when you look in that mirror and you see what you see, then you look at this great graphic and you see what you can see? Not that I'm calling you old or something, Michael.
Go ahead and call me old, because I will. I mean, that's for sure. Hey, we got internet tonight. Last week we had internet problems. And you know what's really ironic is we had our football game, our first home football game Friday here. And guess what we had?
Internet
problems. So anyway, I made some choice remarks about our local internet provider. But other than that, we are on the radio and on the air here. And thank you for inviting me, Randy. It's good to be with you, and looking forward to talking with Whoopie D in the next half hour. It's going to be fun.
And certainly we want to get through a lot, and I'll go back to my question and make it serious as we put that graphic up, your Hall of Fame. It's done first class, and Kevin Waller works hard and has the connection to get it done. And the actual plaque will be kind of a double whammy. There will be more to it, but that's a beautiful looking graphic. So your feelings, so you know that I had plans to do this. We've been talking about it for 2 or 3 years, but once you saw that graphic, your thoughts and just your initial thoughts that on September 21st, you will be one of the very few members in the announcer wing of the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.
Well, honored without a doubt. When I look at that graphic, I think that's 25 years ago almost. And when that picture was taken, and I love the one thing I really like about my hair. I'd gone more short, so that had to have been taken in the summertime. But I love the fact that the mic flag, the USWA mic flag, is on the microphone, and I think that's pretty cool. And yes, we have a visitor. Joshua's had a little accident over the weekend. His dad does welding on the side and had welded a joint for a bracket, and Joshua decided to pick it up. And he had first-degree burns on the back of his hand, second-degree burns on the inside of his hand. He's recovering, but he will never, he won't pick up anything hot anymore, I don't think. But so Jazz has been lonely without him being around, and I haven't seen him for almost a week now. So hopefully we'll see him tomorrow. But other than that, all is well. This is a great opportunity to get people. I'm really looking forward. I've had a lot of people reach out to me on Twitter saying that they're going to be at the event, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody and talking with them. And it's going to be a fun event. Joshua is coming. My wife is coming. Joshua's mom's coming. So we're going to have, we'll be well represented, but I'm really looking forward to all the people that have reached out and said that they're going to come. And please, dear goodness, stop by. Let's take a picture together and chat a little bit. I'm really, really looking forward to it. And Randy, you've done a marvelous job on putting this thing together. I can't believe how big this is going to be with all the great stars from Memphis Wrestling and wrestling in general that are going to be there.
Have to also give props. Couldn't do it without Terry Golden, and Terry from KEW and MCW. Looking forward to that. Bo James is in the house. He says hello, and there's a great picture of a member in September of the Hall of Fame will be the great Terry Golden. We got this series of shows together on promoting this show, and Terry and I announced this event right here on this show. Bo James is in the house, and we're already plotting. Bo is going to bring Whalen to the event, and he's expecting to play with Joshua.
I love it. And Joshua has seen pictures of Waylon as well, and he's looking forward to meeting him. And I'm sure they'll share a lot of things in common. But it's great. Bo, by the way, has got a great podcast going on as well, and it's really historical in nature about East Tennessee wrestling.
Very
and,
good.
I love that. I love that graphic that he had this today that I saw. I think it was posted yesterday though, about the history behind when the East Tennessee people got tired of the shenanigans of the Nashville office and started talking to Crockett Promotions and bringing some people over from the Carolinas. That was a great card that he had a graphic of, and I'm really, really looking forward to continuing to listening in and getting the history of East Tennessee wrestling, which I know very little about compared to other territories.
BC Collins from the Carolinas will be in Jackson, Tennessee. So many people.
There's that graphic.
Oh, yeah, that's a fantastic graphic. And this is from Johnson City Recreation Centers. Sandy and George Scott, the main events, against a great tag team of Sweet Hansen and Rip Hawk. Future NWA Junior Heavyweight Champion Nelson Royal against Pedro Goody, I don't know him. Phil Robley, which is Buck Robley against Bob Griffin, and that is a great card in Johnson City, Tennessee. Hey, we just have a little over 20 minutes before we get Whoopi in, and I wanted to use this 30 minutes to talk about Michael and his career. We've talked a ton about the Nick Gulas days and Michael getting in 1977 getting in. I think if you put a wrestling resume together, I think the first thing involving Michael St. John's voice that you'd have to have on a reel for Michael St. John, and we'll talk about it when we come back a minute as we see this classic video.
When they see this guy, that they won't forget that Terry Boulder is the Hulk. Let's take a look at it right now.
This man is not a television illusion.
Not an illusion.
He is not an artist's conception. He is not a figment of the imagination. He is real. He stands an amazing 6'7" tall. He weighs an incredible 324 pounds. He is the Hulk. The Hulk, without a doubt, is the most awesome figure in professional wrestling today. His measurements are almost unbelievable. His neck measures 24 3/4 inches. His chest expands to an incredible 59 inches. His biceps are 26 inches, and at the end of these powerful arms are two 12-inch fists. This magnificent upper body tapers off to only a 34-inch waist. The Hulk is supported by tree-like legs that can leg press over 1,900 pounds. Combine these amazing measurements with more brute strength than you can imagine, and you have the Hulk. And the Hulk is coming here.
All right, the Hulk is coming here. Remember, coming here at 7:30 Central, Whoopi D here. I have some questions about that, Michael. I want to know if you wrote that spot, if Jerry Jarrett wrote that spot, if Randy West wrote that spot, or if that was, you had a general idea of what Jerry Jarrett asked for, and that was basically ad lib. Walk that through.
Well, first of all, Jerry Jarrett had given me the heads up as to looking at this guy, and his wife Debbie, I'll never forget, said that is the biggest human being I've ever seen in my life, and it gave me the dimensions, and Terry, the Hulk, gave, said, oh, these are my measurements, and this is, and Jerry said, okay, go write me
background for this video we're going to shoot, and he sent me the video that Randy West, I believe, shot in the Jerry Jarrett home there, and I just put that together. The hardest part I remember doing it, and I spent about 45 minutes on it total, and that is writing it and voicing it and putting it together. But the hardest part was trying to find some music, because we didn't want it to sound like Superman, and we didn't want it to sound like 2001: A Space Odyssey, which at that time Championship Wrestling was using as the opening. And at the same time, we didn't want it scary, but we wanted to put across the fact that this guy's big. And so, we had a needle drop deal on some production music at Kicks 104. And I started playing with tracks, and I heard that track, and that track sort of lifts and dumps and lifts and dumps. And I said, this may match. So did the voiceover first, and then laid the track under it to make it fit. And after about the second try of mixing it, I went, this may work. And when I never in my wildest dreams what I thought it would have been viewed over 10 million times. But I guess over 10 million times people had to listen to that voice. And I put a little echo on the voice and a little effect. And, I liked it. And then when it was married to the video, my God, the video just blew it out of the water. So it's really the credit of the video more so than anything I did.
Shane Odom has a question for you. Michael saying, John, what did you love doing more, color commentary? And actually, you did more play-by-play than color commentary, even though you did some, or backstage interviews and promos.
Well, honestly, it's all part of the same show. I mean, the same idea of broadcasting, I guess. And I loved it all. I mean, there were times that we would have to do 42 promos at one time. And I would always try to rest my voice between, I didn't talk a lot extemporaneously other than doing the promos, trying to save my voice. Because when you're on promo number 39, I mean, that voice can get a little weak, because back in those days, if you remember, Randy, we were going 2 minutes and 1 minute. Right. And the 1 minute was a rundown of the card, and it was only me. And then the 2 minutes, we had a heel interview, we had a babyface interview. And I always enjoyed those. But the play-by-play, the commentary is what I really sort of sunk my teeth into and enjoyed it, and enjoy it to this day of doing a football game or a baseball game or whatever I'm calling a Christmas parade. I've always enjoyed doing that. And, I'm a little older now, and my brain probably doesn't function as well as it used to, but it's still a lot of fun doing it. And I really enjoy doing it. And thank God some wonderful people out there appreciate it. And I appreciate them.
Hey, it's 7:18 my time. We got new people in here. Appreciate it. Whoopi D will be along in about 12 minutes. Nate Steele is in the house. Appreciate it very much. Al loves that story, and we're going to tell you a story in just a minute. Michael's going to explain what we're going to see next. This is number 2 in the great thing, and the impact. The Hogan video was impactful in the still today, because if you have to name just one wrestler, you would probably say Hulk Hogan first. Most people would. It's just amazing. But this next video also very interesting, very, very interesting as well, as we watch right now on Talking Memphis Wrestling. All right, give us a lowdown on the famous Kamala video. And the debut of Kamala really, really, really popped the territory big time, big time. So give us the lowdown like you did the Hogan video. Michael St. John on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
A little bit different in that Randy West called me about the guy, and he said, you got to see this before you could write anything. And sent me the video, or sent me an uncut version of what he had shot. And I remember. No, I don't think he sent it. I think when I went home that night, I stopped by his house and he played it for me. And so I got the idea, and being it was the whole thing was, this is a man out of the deep jungles of Africa, and there wasn't a lot wrestling about it, but the statistics were pretty exponentially strong, and so that's why everything's repeated twice in the video. And we didn't have a lot to say about, his prowess or anything, but it was just, here comes this giant out of the Ugandan jungle, and we had to, they wanted to get that point across. The music, I think, was key, and that was, I just, again, went into a music library and found that pretty quickly. It was like, okay, this is it. And I mean, that video, I think that video was probably as enticing of any wrestling video I've ever seen of an individual, because he was the unknown. And with Hogan, you knew you were getting the big guy, the strong guy. You were getting a good-looking guy, that big bodybuilder, professional wrestler coming into the territory. But with Kamala, the sell was more of the unknown. And so I think the video just surpasses anything that I've ever had a chance to work with, number one. And then, like I said, the music was pretty easy to be found, but that's not my best writing job, I can assure you. I just didn't have a lot to work with. It's like when you go and sell an advertiser a package or commercials, and you say, now, give me something about your business, and they hand you their business card and say, that's my business. What do you do? So not my best prose, but I can assure you, the video itself and the music, I think, sold it.
It drew money. It drew a lot of money. A question the other day, or a statement of what Michael liked doing best: play-by-play, color, doing the interviews, whatever. One of the things that Michael was so good at was hosting or co-hosting the show. And as a co-host or a host, you get to do all that. You get to do interviews, you get to do color, you get to do play-by-play, you get to do everything. And when you do live TV, and this is the thing our producer Adam Dunn loves more than anything, Michael didn't know that I would figure this in. I did, because Michael is a part of this. I showed it on the show last night, and I want, just in your mind, when we come back out of the video, to tell me what in the hell you thought about this when it happened. It's craziness as we go to USWA 1997. Here we go.
Television today, the massive Doomsday, part of Team Icon. Dutch Mantel said that he will put that title on the line, or
I like my hair
that
there.
title on the line.
Yeah,
He plays
had
anywhere. You got to tag. Holy, what the heck is going on here? Downtown Bruno has just Bruno. Hey, you guys, hey, break it up, break it up. Bruno. Downtown Bruno has just attacked Tony Friedman. What in the heck is going on here? The man is crazy. Are you okay? Can we get some help out here for Tony? Let's take this break. We'll be back right after this.
Hey, Mr. Hood, how are you doing, Richard? Good to have you here. And now, Bruno talked about this last night. Earlier in the NG room, Bruno got in a fight, knocked the dog doo-doo out of Larry Burton. And then he was mad at Tony Friedman, and he was mad at Larry Burton. Larry Burton, Tony Friedman would do work for free and that sort of thing, just like different people would. And Bruno does this for money, and he felt he was being screwed out of money. And when he came back to the monitor, when you were opening the show, he said to Lawler, I should go out there, and Lawler thought he was just running his mouth. And he says, Bruno said, I'm going to go out there and beat the shit, or I should go out there and beat the shit out of him. And Lawler thought he was bluffing, and Lawler said, I dare you. Bruno took his glasses, said, hold my glasses. He went out there, jumped the table, and that was a shoot, 110%. Your memories and your thoughts of that, Michael St. John.
Well, to quote Bruno, oh shit, that was my first thought. And he came right after him, and I saw him fly over there. And back in those days, Bruno, they'd send him out, and he'd stir up, cut a promo on the fly, or we needed time, or we needed, he would always be a great fill. And the man was a genius then. But some of us didn't realize it, and some of us did, and when that happened, I'm like, okay, we went down the rundown of the show, but they didn't tell me about this. And then Tony actually, he took a couple of punches in the face, and I could see that, they weren't, Bruno wasn't pulling anything. He was just in there on him. And so I did what anybody would do and just called it as I saw it. And then when we went to break, I remember asking the floor director, I said, did I miss something? And he went, if you did, I did too. He said, I didn't know that was coming. I said, I didn't either. And then later in a break, I got explained on my my earpiece, my AFB. Somebody upstairs said, no, that was that there was an altercation, and that Bruno was upset, and that's all that happened. But you talk about a way to start a show. I mean, boy, when you see somebody come flying over the desk at somebody standing or sitting, 2 feet from you, it can be a little scary proposition.
Michael St. John going into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame on September the 21st, as will 9 other people. It's the time in the show. We're about ready for it. Guest of the show for several different occasions. He's back today. But first, before we go there, we're going to go back to the videotape, and that spot, voiced by Michael St. John, edited by Adam Dunn. Everybody, you see the QR code on the posters? You see it. You need to get your tickets because they're going quick. Get the VIP tickets, get you in for everything, and Front Row Platinum will give you the front row seats. It is a night to remember, and we'll watch that commercial right now and be back with Wolfie D.
Remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Think about this. In the early 90s, when a young, small, brash tag team of PG-13, JC Ice, Jamie Dundee, and Wolfie D came in to the Memphis territory, there's 3 people on the face of God's green earth that would have put money on the line, would have placed a bet. There's 3 people that would have said that years later, in 2024, that tag team would be in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. One of the people that would have placed that bet would have been JC Ice. The second person that would have placed that bet, as they were both betting on themselves, and that was Wolfie D. The third person that would have put money out, in a way I was betting on myself, but in the main way I was betting on PG-13. And it was not a risky bet for me, because even though if it wouldn't have worked, I wouldn't have been in the booker very long. That's just the way the wrestling business did. I'm glad I made that bet. I am glad and honored and had the thrill to make the phone call to Somerset, Kentucky, and invite Wolfie D. Did this several months ago, invite him to the Hall of Fame, and they accepted. As Bobby Bunch says, my dude, much love to Whoopi D. And same here as we welcome to the show Whoopi D, 2024 class of the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And that is beautiful. Kevin
It
did a
is,
great
man.
job.
That is so beautiful.
Hey, Wolf, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Randy. And that is beautiful, man. It's something that wow, it hits me in the feels, man. And I don't want to give up my speech that
No.
I'm going to give.
Make them pay for it.
Yeah, but it just means a lot to me, man, and it's incredibly awesome to be inducted. And I mean, good Lord, with so many people, the names, that's the thing for me, man. It's what I grew up on, man. It's what I grew up on, man. I've said this to many people, is that when my stepfather came into my life in 1981, 82, something like that, I was, 7 or 8 years old, and he was a wrestling fan. He watched Memphis wrestling on Saturday mornings, and I cannot tell you that I knew that wrestling existed before that. That's the craziest part. Is I swear to God, I don't think I ever heard the word pro wrestling or saw anybody on TV doing pro wrestling until I saw Memphis wrestling. So that's what I grew up on, and that's what made me fall in love, man. And to be inducted into this Hall of Fame is something special, man. Especially, when you and you did this. It also means we lost 16 times, but we were 15-time tag team champions. And I don't think nobody else did that. You did.
No, you're giving me the blame for you losing the championship, and you're taking all the credit for winning them. That's
Absolutely.
not right. And I have a
Absolutely.
little bit to do with that too, by the way.
Yes. Like they say, every match I won was real, but the ones I lost, it was fake as shit.
That's true. I'll let you answer a question from Carla Hicks, because you mentioned it, talking about you're a Nashville boy. You lived in Nashville. You, in that little speech you were talking about a while ago, you were saying, let's go ahead, and Carla McCullum Hicks talking about the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. And you can explain this, because people from all over the world call it Memphis Wrestling. I'll let you answer this, Wolfie. She says, Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame in Jackson, Tennessee. Make that make sense. Why not in Memphis? Make it make sense.
Well, because, I mean, Memphis used to run Jackson a lot, and it's right there next to it. And that was also a town that used to be run a lot. Not in the 90s, but before that, it was run more often. Louisville, Evansville, Nashville, that's the Memphis territory. When we say the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, it's the Memphis territory. You could almost add that word on there, the Memphis Territory Wrestling Hall of Fame. I if I can't explain it any better than that, then I'm sorry.
And I think a lot of people, and back in the day, the wrestling, maybe even before your time, maybe in your time, we said Memphis, but people working the Carolinas, fixing to move along, say, well, we think we'll call Tennessee. They called it Tennessee, or they call it Goulas, or
the Tennessee territory. Yeah.
It was never specifically Memphis to recently. Now, try, Carla, renting a building in Memphis, Tennessee. Try doing that. See how much that costs you. Also in Memphis, Tennessee, honest to God, try going there and not getting shot. That's the second thing. The third thing.
Hey, let me tell you something. I told you my daughter, she's going to come to the show. And when I first told her about it, she's like, I'm bringing my mom with me. And I was like, that's fine. She's like, I'm not coming to Memphis by myself. And I said, well, it's not Memphis. It's actually in Jackson. But I get it. And me and Jamie, see, that's the other thing, man, is that the reason that me and Jamie got over, and you know this, man, and many people have said it, man, because it wasn't a gimmick. we were PG-13. We were those two white boys from the hood, man. We just were that, man. We walked around places that white boys couldn't go in those days, man. I remember pulling up. I think this was either in 93 or 94. They had us booked on a radio show, and the guy's name was Spanish Fly. I don't know if you remember that, Randy, but I think Jerry was still booking back then, Jerry Jarrett. But they had us on a thing called the Spanish Fly Show, and his radio show was in a place called Hurt Village. Anybody from Memphis knows Hurt Village, man. You don't want to go up in there, especially if you're white. And there was a police precinct in there. I mean, it was in the place, and we had to go to that police precinct, and then the radio show was upstairs. So we pulled in there in that 76 Thunderbird that we used to drive, and as soon as we pulled in, man, they started rushing us. People started rushing us. Hey, man, what you need? What you need? And then all of a sudden they go, yo, PG-13, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? And we're like, hey, we're looking for, the place to go and, this Spanish Fly, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, right over here. Yeah. They told us where to go. And we ended up going in there and doing the radio show, and it was awesome. But it wasn't a made up gimmick, as you see for a lot of people. It wasn't a made up gimmick for us. It was us.
Let's go ahead and do more questions. Adam, if you'll put Brian K. Stevens up on the screen right now, and I will think I know the answer to this. I'll let Wolfie. Who came up with the hubcaps and who came up with the cyber suits and names?
The hubcap was actually, okay, so Chris Champion put us together. I was doing Wolfie D by myself, and then Chris Champion said, you guys need to do this together. And so we did. And at first we had we had an album, and it was actually a Peter Criss. I'm a huge Kiss fan. Peter Criss, when he left Kiss, he did his own solo album. I think it was called Out of Control. And it had this jukebox throwing out records or something like that on the front of it. And I knew nobody would know this. I knew nobody would know what it was. So the thing was that we had a gold record. We were rappers. We had a gold record, and we didn't even rap back then. Jerry Jarrett came up with that idea. But so anyway, the idea was we had a record in there that was gold, and we'd hit people with it and, knock them out. So I don't think Chris really, he didn't like that. And so one night he was like, I need a better finish than this. And in Shelbyville, Tennessee, the people that know, it was like a junkyard back there. And we found a hubcap. There was spray paint. We spray painted PG-13 on it, and we put a rope around it. And, Flavor Flav back then was wearing the clock. And so that was the idea. And that's where we came up with it at. It was in Shelbyville, and Chris said, I don't like what y'all are doing with this record thing. Let's do this. And that's where the hubcap came from. And then what was the other question?
Okay, well, the cyber suits.
And the cyberpunks, yeah. So the cyberpunks is also another thing that me and Chris came up with back when I was like, I don't know, 16 or 17. We were drawing up stuff. He had the Ninja Turtle thing, and it was, he had foam in there. It was before you could just like buy this stuff like randomly, and you can now. You can buy that kind of stuff. But anyway, he had to mold it and do all this, and we came up with this thing, and it had earpieces, it had all this, and it was just a thing that I wanted to do. And then in 94, when we left you and you got mad at us and went to Mexico, I just drew those suits up, and this guy made them for us, man.
Now that's a lie.
That ain't a lie.
Yeah, it is a lie. That part is a lie. I did not. You gave the notice to me to go to Mexico. I didn't give the notice to you.
No, I didn't say. I'm not saying that. I'm saying you weren't happy with it. Like,
I was not happy that you left.
Right, exactly. That's all I'm saying. And then when we went to Puerto Rico, Dutch called us, and we went to Puerto Rico. You weren't happy about that either.
No, I wasn't happy with that. And right now, I'm going to have my co-host, Michael St. John, ask a couple of questions and continue this discussion, and we'll get into the video part. folks, we got a lot of people commenting. If we don't answer your question, just write it again and we'll get back with you. We're lost in this conversation. Michael?
Wolf, I gotta say to you, one of the proudest moments I can ever remember watching WWE were when you and JC were on WWE for the first time. I mean, I got chill bumps. I was like
Oh man.
applauding. I'm yelling at the TV. I worked with these guys. I worked with these guys because I thought you guys made the most tremendous. It's like a football coach from game 1 to game 2, you make the most progress. But from game 2 to game 10, you got to keep that progress moving. You
Right.
guys shot up like you're going up a roller coaster's front end. And I mean, and then you got on there, and what you did wasn't any different than what you were doing in Memphis. You guys were being real. And I think to hear you explain about, PG-13 being a real thing, I think you guys really proved it when you went up there. And, and quite frankly, I've talked to so many people that have worked in and out of New York and in that atmosphere. And that's one of those things that even in the broadcast business, Wolfie, New York can make you or break you.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
bottom
Absolutely.
line. And I thought you guys were absolutely amazing. My question is, I know you and Jamie had a lot of opportunities to do different things and go different places, but there were how many promoters or how many people that came to you or that you went to work for got you there and then said, well, we want you to do it this way, or we want you to change this. Did you run across a lot of that?
Honestly, man, because I was gonna talk about this, and you kind of asked the question for me. When we went up there in the time that you're talking about, they had us do those little pre-tapes or whatever. First time in both of our lives, I mean, I think I can speak for Jamie in saying that there was a teleprompter, and it had our interview on there, like during both of those matches. The one where we win against I can't Sonny somebody. I'm sorry, and I hate it that I can't remember their names. And then we had the Smoking Guns match. Anyway, we had to do 2 little promos,
Vignettes.
right?
Vignette promos, yeah.
Yeah. And we first started doing them, and it just didn't sound like us. And I honestly, I couldn't keep up with the the teleprompter. And so we said, and I've told this before, but I couldn't keep up with it. Jamie couldn't either. It just didn't sound like us. And so we go, hey, can y'all turn that off and just tell us what you want us to say? And they were like, well, okay. Blah, blah, blah. So what you see on those 2 things is they gave us a couple of hit points, and we just did it. They turned the teleprompter off, and we just did it because that's the only way we knew how to do it. And frankly, when we were done, I swear to God, the whole camera crew, this wasn't no wrestlers were around. It was just the production people or whatever. But they were like, that was great. That was great. And to me and him, it was just like, hey man, that's just what we do,
And you did it right, and you did it. Yeah, you were the first to do it. I mean, how many times has the PG-13 character or the PG-13 aura been copied in wrestling even to today? I think you guys were trailblazers in that thing.
I'm glad you said it, because people get mad at me when I say it.
No, it's true. It's true.
Evidently, but yeah, man. I mean, some people could say like PN News was first, but he had on tights, and he was he wasn't a white dude. But then all of a sudden, here comes the white dudes tag teams that were doing the hip hop gimmick. But anybody that knows wrestling and looks back at history knows that PG-13 was the first.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know. I remember one night, and I hope I'm not getting too personal here, but we were running real late, and I think we were in Nashville at the Fairgrounds Arena, and the show ran late, and we had to cut some promos after the show. And I've never felt so sorry for anyone as I did your poor wife that night. And I think you had your little one there, and it had been a long night, and for whatever reason, a couple of people before it was time for you and JC to go on and do your gimmick, do your promo.
Yeah.
We're just doing busts left and right. And I remember Jerry Jarrett would get so mad, but Jerry never, when Jerry got real mad, you were like, I don't want to be around this. But
Yeah.
he got so upset because and I forget who it was that had done, and it was like, instead of doing 1 or 2 takes, they were done like 9.
Yeah.
And they would get started and they'd say, I'm not into it. I can bust. And finally, Jerry said, just do it. But I remember your poor wife having to live through that. And you kept having to, happy wife, happy life. So you had to, get things calm and everything. But then you guys came on, did your promos, and it was bam, bam, bam. And then you got your
Knock
3
them
done and
out
it was
and
done.
go, man.
There you go.
I always prided, and I know Jamie, of course, too, because that's the thing, man. Jamie taught me how to talk, and I feel like I taught Jamie more of how to work. I'm not saying he couldn't work before we met or whatever, but we fed off of each other so well, man. But in that instance, man, we always just were like, tell us what to say, and then we'll just do it. And we did it many times. And like you said, 1 take. I appreciate that so much because I always prided myself on being a 1 take guy. And my daughter is going to be there on the 21st, and her mom will be there too, along with my son's going to be there, and his mom, and my girlfriend will be there. And man, it's my best friend from high school just called me and, hey man, I want to be there. And then I don't know if you guys remember the early TNA days, the Heel Section. They actually have a podcast and a website, the Heel Section. He's one of my best friends, man, Brian Anderson. They're going to be there. I mean, dude. And I also am working on a rap that I'm going to record and play before we walk out. And I want to give a shout out to him, man, for that. It's I'll give his name. I'll give his name later because I ain't recorded it yet. So he gave me the beat and all that kind of stuff.
Let's break in right now and let's get real about this situation. I have not seen Casey or Denise in 25, 30 years?
Yeah, well, you won't see Denise. You'll see Kim.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I
the mother
misunderstood.
that raised her. You
Okay.
remember that? Me and Kim raised Casey. Kim and Casey will be there, but yeah.
Okay, I'm looking forward to see that. But I want to tell this story. So it was a blow-off night, and it was in Louisville, Kentucky, and you guys were on top, and we knew it was going to be a fantastic, fantastic house.
And I think, honestly, here let's think about this. It was a Sunday night because I've done
Sunday, Bloody Sunday.
It was on a Sunday in Louisville, which is odd because it's usually on a Tuesday. It was Rage in the Cage, I think, on that night.
The show was called Sunday, Bloody Sunday, but the main event was the Rage in the Cage.
Right.
And PG on top with the Rock and Roll feud. And so tell that story. You knew what was going on, but you knew your main event, and you had the choice of staying at the hospital or going to Louisville. You went to Louisville.
Yeah. And some people that might sound awful, but that was 95, 96, where that was. 95, she was born August the 6th, 1995. But we do things different now. People look at things different now, but back then, that was my bread and butter, was being a wrestler. And so we worked the night before, Randy, if you remember, we worked the night before. I think it was Barbersville, Kentucky, for Smoky Mountain. And the next day we woke up and her mom starts, her water broke and whatnot. And, I had to drive Eastern Kentucky, where I live now, which is so ironic. I had to drive all the way down that parkway, get to Bowling Green, and then back down 65 to Nashville, and then go back up 65 and get to Louisville for the show. And I made it. And Casey was born while I was in the ring. And then me and you drove from Louisville to Nashville, and I can't remember. You might have held her before I did. I don't remember, but it was like we were both there. And it was like, here she is, you know.
Yeah, we walked in the room together. It was just fantastic. I remember cell phones, believe it or not, folks, in 1995. We called
You had a
Lawler.
car phone. You were the first person I ever knew that had a car phone.
Yeah, we called Lawler, and I told him the house, and then I handed the phone to you, well, first I said, you won't ever believe what happened to Whoopi, and I'm sure he thought, oh my God, he got arrested, or broke his leg, or broke his neck, or whatever, and told him the news. That was a fantastic
But that's
thing.
so funny too to think back about that, man. Like somebody called the box office. That's what you had to do back then with no cell phones, because your car was in the car. You know,
Right.
that was, you know, even though you had a car phone, it was in your car. Somebody called the box office, and the box office had to relay to us that, hey, his kid's born. You know, and it's so crazy, man. What did we do without cell phones? Michael St. John, what did you do without one?
I had a car phone in 1976 when I was programming MPS in Memphis. That was my first car phone, so that was a long time ago.
You got one in 76?
I had one in 76, and
oh my God.
The coverage was absolutely abominable. And plow broadcasting, that was the program director had to be on 24-hour call. So
Wow.
I had but it was. I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, Woofy. I'm sitting here with you now at my age and everything. Had there been cell phones when I was back in the 70s and the 80s, especially, it wasn't the cell phones that bothered me. It's that damn camera on them. I'd be in prison right now. I have no doubt about it. I'd be either that or been electrocuted long before now. I would have been a statistic. But, you know, the cell phones changed the world, and now it's changed our industry in broadcasting and in media, because everybody gets their news and the majority of their entertainment from one of these things right here.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. We're telling the story of PG-13. PG caught Jeff's eye, brought him in. We've told this story before. Jerry Jarrett was booking Family in 94. I started booking, and then things changed. They were a underneath tag team they did stuff with. I'm not saying you were a couple of job guys. That wasn't the case at all. But you were certainly not put in a spot to draw money, or at the same time, more important than drawing money, you weren't put in a spot to draw money.
Right.
You weren't put in a spot where you're over, where you can sell a bunch of hubcaps or a bunch of pictures or that sort of thing. Then along came me, who believed in you. The first program was these big ass dudes, told the story before, the Eliminators. You beat them 10 straight weeks, got over. The first money program with Tommy and Doug, so much great stuff with Tommy, Doug. We involved your stepfather, Pete, involved Mama D, your mother, involved Peggy Rich, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
There was just so much chaos. I picked out one thing of the Tommy Rich, Doug Gilbert, PG-13 feud, just because I thought this was exciting, and we'll watch that now on Talking Memphis Wrestling.
Here comes a real thrill. Scott Bowden with Doug Gilbert and Wildfire Tommy Rich.
No, PG-13, you're the kind of punk that my mother used to warn me
Whoopi,
about.
I didn't like
The
this
kids
guy.
from the wrong side of the tracks, you understand what I'm saying? Because every once in a while, they cross the
I
track
don't think a
into
lot
our
of us
nice
did,
neighborhood
but
and tried to work
he
out
was
some of their
good, man. He
frustrations
was good.
on the rich kids. Well, I promise you two punks something. If you try to cross the track,
When I watch
and
it
come
now,
up with this
I
rich
see,
kid,
I mean, he was a
you gotta
good
go
talker.
through Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich first. You understand what I'm saying, baby? Dundee has never given Jamie Dundee everything.
Look at Tommy.
He's had to steal for everything.
I remember
he's ever
those
gotten.
days
He
when
probably
Tommy
stole the
was
hubcap
slim and
off the doctor that
trim.
delivered him. Well, let me tell you, two pieces of
I ain't gonna
white
say
trash,
nothing else,
something.
but I know why.
Tommy Rich and Doug
No,
Gilbert
no.
are going to turn you into men this week.
You're good.
I promise you that.
No, I don't.
Don't say it.
No,
And here's Doug.
I don't know if you could do anything and turn them two idiots into men. We'll see what happens when everybody's against you and you're getting cheated from, you're getting robbed from, and they steal whatever it may be. What happened last week? They stole the USWA belt from Tommy Rich. What happened this week was I got cheated
out of my chest. Tommy, come here. Tell them what is in store for what they've done to us. Well, you know, boys, welcome to a man's world, and that's what it's all about. But, you know, I want to give you a little background on PG-13. What it amounts to, you're looking at two boys that don't even have no business. They come out here.
Personal issues, draw money.
And people over here laugh at them because they're about as illiterate as J.C. Ice and Wolfie D.
And
Now,
I'm so
Jamie
happy
Dundee,
that those
the reason
two
you got
agreed to
into
work with
professional
us
wrestling,
in
we
this
all know.
capacity because they didn't have to. You know what I mean?
Dundee come from overseas, from
After the
Australia
video, I
to here,
will
and he made
talk
a name
about
for
the
himself.
conversations
Bill
I had
Dundee
with
was
them.
a man. He's a legend here in this area. But you're not, Jamie Dundee. You're not half the man your old man is. And if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be here. Then you got Wolfie D.
Does he already? I saw him lift his hand up. Does he already have the cast on where I broke his arm in the back?
You know, he's got his nose stuck up.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I saw him raise his hand up.
You
He
know
got
what
something
I
on
hear
it.
what
Looked
saying,
like.
whether I disagree with it. And then I've done, you know,
But
they
that's
talk
what we
about
did.
the
It was like
hubcap.
eye
Well,
for
I
an
found
eye,
out
tooth
what
for a
that's
tooth.
about.
Right.
You know, Wolfie D, his mama's an old hag, you know, and his daddy. The only way that Wolfie D can find his daddy is when he goes down to the street corner and he don't know which one his daddy's going to be standing there with his corn jar and begging for money. Well, hold on a second. Let me tell you a little story. See, yeah, there's this little kid. He's called J.C. Ice, right? Well, everybody knows, little boy, who your daddy is and what your name is. Your name's Jamie Dundee, and you was raised right, Jamie Dundee. And see, your daddy had a whole lot of money. And he gives you, but you know what happened, Dave Brown? You know what happened to Jamie Dundee? What? He beat his poor old dad. See, Bill Dundee was a big legend around here for years and years. He beat Bill Dundee about senseless. And then, you know, you remember his poor old mom, Beverly Dundee, don't you, Dave Brown? You remember Beverly, the bomb over there? I'm about getting sick and tired of all this
Doug
story
spit on
insulting
him.
people.
Doug was spit when he
You gotta
talked.
insult anybody no longer. See his old mama, Beverly Dundee, after he beat up his daddy was embarrassed, and he kicked her out. Well, Jamie Dundee, for what you've done, see your mama, your old bald-headed, ugly mama, your stupid daddy, and everybody else in the hood, you think you're real.
Here they come.
David, PG-13.
The cavalry have arrived.
They could stand. And here they are, out here jumping on Gilbert and Rich, who had been out totally out of order, running their mouth in a direction they shouldn't have been. And now we're trying to get this brawl broken up. Randy Hale's out. Randy's calling for more help if there's anybody watching a monitor. Tony Williams out. And PG-13 absolutely furious. Tony Williams holding back.
It's a shoot, man. They still, like, I went to Myrtle Beach on vacation recently, and Tommy won't answer my phone call.
And it ends up in another brawl right over by the fans.
I don't think Doug likes me anymore
Partially
either.
Separated. Rich is back out of it.
I talked to
Gilbert's
Doug
back.
today for the first time.
And we're going to take a break, and we'll be back to it in
Great
just a
segment,
moment.
and before we discuss that segment, and we'll have Michael have his comments, Whoopi have his comment, but remember that brawl we just saw, and Adam found and uploaded more video, and I'm not going to introduce it. We'll just play it. So Adam, play the video, and we'll get
As Ice breaks out of it. Now there's a tag. Stephen Dunn will be coming in. Lanigan with those leg scissors, Dave. Takes him down, and look at Stephen Dunn. That's some of that teamwork. Count of two. And let me tell you, they're wasting no time at all to get the 3 count on this PG-13. Well, that's a very smart move for a tag team like this. You know, don't extend it unnecessarily and take a chance on slipping up and getting beat.
Do you remember where this is going, Whoopi?
Every opportunity, go for that 3
Is this where
count.
my mom
If they get
comes
it,
in?
they take the belt,
Yes.
and it's over, they successfully defend it. That's exactly right. Bout continues. USWA Tag Team titles on the line.
Good shot,
We
no.
did not get to complete the open of the program today.
Oh, good shot.
All
Okay, yeah. Hey, reverse our big move. We'll give you that, Stephen. Rest in peace. I love
Rest
Steve.
in peace. He was a great guy and can work. He could work too.
Absolutely. Good friend of mine.
I think it's safe to say this was in 1994, Wolfie.
No,
Probably
this was 95 or 6, maybe even 7.
late 94, early 95. It was before the rock and roll program.
No, this was I mean, I might be wrong, but this was right around Nation Domination time. So this had to be 95.
Mama D, honest to God, happened in late 94, early 95, because August of 95 was the rock and roll and the Smoky Mountain stuff. That Tommy was babysitting. I'm positive.
Okay. I went to the bank today and told him that I wasn't there a week ago, and I was. Anyway. I can't remember anything. It's because you made me get hit all the time.
Yes, I did. But I got hit too, by God. Right?
Red equals green, right?
Hey, those hubcaps don't give the way those guitars do.
No.
Talking Memphis Wrestling on a Tuesday night. There's 18 days to a night to remember. There you go.
Love that spot.
Flash Flanagan was a youngster that came into our territory that I always thought had a lot of promise, Wolf.
Dude, Flash was awesome, man. He still is, and love Flash. He was such a great worker for OVW, and he does not get the respect he deserved, quite frankly.
He told me at one time in the locker room he wanted to be a porn star.
Brandon Wheeler, just answer this quick, or whatever you think about this. Brandon Wheeler says, I think we need a video feed for live and in color. And he says, where's Jamie? Or where's Jimmy? So, do you want to do a video feed on your podcast?
We just have decided we like, look at those punches, man. But anyway, we just decided that we like doing audio, and I don't know what the answer about that is. I've talked to Jimmy about it, doing it where we have video, and our guests will be on video and stuff. But we just have to this day not done that. That's all I can say about it.
This is a
Here
hell
we go.
of a
Frankensteiner coming up, I think. Yep. We had this argument. Michael St. John, you might could come in on this. Is that a Hurricanrana or a Frankensteiner?
That's a Frankensteiner. Hurricanrana goes this way, Frankensteiner goes this way.
What's the difference, do you think? Or is there one?
Well, on a Hurricanrana, again, you're
Hey,
parallel to the
hold on
ring.
just a second, Michael. Let's stop this video. Hold it right there. Don't
Look at
take
this
it
hot
off.
tag, though. Bump feed, bump feed, bump feed. Youngsters learn from this. Bump feed, bump feed. All right, go ahead, Randy.
Just Michael was making all kinds of hand gestures, and he was off camera right there. Michael, explain to Whoopi what you were explaining, and he couldn't see you. You look like you were having spasms. Explain the difference.
I hope I wasn't, but you never can tell in this day and time. Hurricanrana, the wrestler goes parallel to and swings around. It's like a hurricane. It's moving this way. A Frankensteiner is like coming this way, is a vertical move. That's the way I've always been taught to call it. If it's coming off vertical like that was out of the corner, Frankensteiner, there's other names for it. Hurricanrana comes vertically like a hurricane. That's all I know.
Okay, well, I'll say this. The first time I ever saw it done was on Memphis TV. Scott honestly did that. Me and him had this conversation, honestly. And I told him, I said, it's not a Hurricanrana, it's a Frankensteiner. You invented it. And, he jumps up, and I don't care. I mean, it's the person taking it. honestly, is to whether you go straight over or you go to the side or whatever. But someone grabs you with their legs and flips you over, to me, is a Frankensteiner. I don't care if it's off the top rope, if it's off the ropes, if it's standing, if it's whatever. I think he invented it. I don't know. I'm not a wrestling historian. Maybe,
but again,
a Mexican guy might have done it before that. It's almost like a victory roll.
It's a vertical
But to
move.
me, the victory roll was, when I first learned it, was they jump up on your back from behind and go forward into a pin. So I don't know. I guess it's disputable.
And again, holes, that's what gets me about professional wrestling today. You see the same hole. I remember it being a Boston Crab from day one, and Irish Mike Clancy was the guy that I ever first saw put a Boston Crab on somebody. And now it's called a sharpshooter or some crazy ass name.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, in the world of professional wrestling, wrestling holes came from out of the Greco-Roman Olympian kind of wrestling, and then it was transformed during the Carney days, and these holes had names, and those were the names you learned. Now half of these people don't know a headlock from a wristwatch.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, man, there's been times like when I was still active and stuff where a guy would tell me, hey, I'm gonna give you a dragon shoot drop lock, and I'm like, what? And it ended up being just like something simple that I knew. You know what I mean? It'd be like just a regular move that, why don't you call it a body slam, bro?
No, and I get it. And everything has a fancy name in this day and time.
Yeah.
As we return to the action, and microphones are hot, and we're going into the four-way here, and you can take it from here, Wilbur.
The four-way miss. Here it comes.
Even down and moved out of the way. Yeah, he misses. And look at Flanagan now. He's probably at top. Oh, boy. He looks over and he misses. Yeah. Whoopi goes to the other side. He's on the top rope. He flies. He misses. Here's Stephen Dunn over on the other corner. He's on the top, and he catches Whoopi. He's got it. Reggie B.
Reggie.
Elijah Watt jumps in and nails Stephen Dunn from behind. Down to 1, 2. He broke out of it at the 2 count. The referee says only 2. I thought he had him. He got up off. Powder from Queen Moesha. And Dunn covers Whoopi too. Man, look at this action here. What a stop. What a great match here today on USWA Wrestling. Some lady that handed Whoopi D.
My mom's cane, yeah.
Looks like a plexiglass cane or something. Who is that? 3 count.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and we've got new champions. PG-13.
This wasn't a part of the. You're right about the '97, because this wasn't a part of the Rich Gilbert thing. This was after I had left. This is in the Larry Burton era, when y'all were not loyal to me and you stayed and worked for that son of a bitch.
With the Nation of Domination that's been set up there. No doubt about that. All right, let's Flash,
yeah, I had a feeling it was
take a break.
later than that.
Settled. We'll be back in just a minute.
God bless her. Rest her soul, man, my mom.
And that was just a fantastic deal. I'm going to shoot to you, Michael, for one more question, and I'm going to queue up this next video.
Well, let me just say this, and I'm watching that, and I'm watching every little detail of that, except for when the roach attacked me. But I had a roach fall on me in the middle of that. If I was going crazy, folks, it came out of the ceiling somewhere. I'm underground here. I'm in a safe room where my studio is, so every now and then they show up.
We need to send the pest control to your house, man.
Hey, I got a guy that advertises with me that does our pest control, and we haven't had a lot of problems.
He needs to do better. We don't need roaches falling on you, Mike.
But one thing I was watching, and I had to compare this to some of the highlights I saw Saturday from the show in Berlin, and the way that you guys worked it. There is no way in hell, in my opinion, that you can script a match as good as you can call the match in the ring. Call me old-fashioned, call me stupid, call me whatever. But in my opinion, I took my grandson down to AEW when they were here, and we were there 3 hours before the show, and I took him out to see the ring, and he was just enthralled. And the boys are taking their turns practicing.
Right.
I'm like, we didn't practice. There's no crying in baseball. There's no practicing in wrestling. And
Right.
it really chaps me to have to know that. And the thing about when they rehearse and practice and all, and both the AEW and WWE, they do the whole thing. But when they miss something, they miss it. Whereas when you guys would miss something in the ring, the people would never, ever know it unless somebody got hurt. And that's
Right.
the other thing. Nobody ever got back then. It was all planned out and called in the ring, and nobody got hurt. Now it's all planned out, practiced, and everybody gets hurt.
Yeah, they get hurt all the time, man. And I'll say this, man. This is what I used to like when I was running my wrestling school and stuff. What I would teach people is like I got what I like to call, I don't know what anybody else calls it, filler spots. Like I can give you something on the fly when you're in the air, whatever. I'll give you a filler spot of what I want you to do. Yes, we will not go out there and do it, but yes, we'll talk about it or whatever. And obviously in that match, there was things we talked about, but there's also filler spots where, I'll call something on the fly, man. And who's going into the Hall of Fame? Danny Davis, man. I can't wait to see him again. Danny Davis taught me that, man. He would, cause I was coming out of, outlaw stuff, at 17, 18 years old working Danny Davis, and all of a sudden I learned when Danny Davis would give me a hip toss and I'm flying through the air, he would tell me what he wanted me to do next. and that was so awesome to me. I mean, he taught me how to work. So I just had stuff that in my brain was filler spots, but then I'd have stuff that we might talk about. But as far as going out there, I mean, there's some huge moves nowadays that you probably would want to go out there and be like, okay, so you're going to do this and how are you going to do that and whatever. But yes, it has changed. And in certain aspects, I understand that. But at the same time, I feel like, and I don't watch AEW. I've tried. I do watch some WWE pay-per-views, and I think they're on track. I think it looks good. And there's been matches where I'm like, heck yeah, man, that's old school, and they're doing it right, man, with psychology and stuff. But yeah, so anyway, if that answers what you were saying, and oh wait, a roach.
Hey, real quick, one of our listeners wanted to ask me who would I like to have seen PG-13 face off with. I'll tell you this: anybody in ECW, because I think you guys would have blown ECW apart.
Well, I mean, we went there. We were up there on the weekends, and that was kind of a heat thing. Randy will tell you this, man, that we went up there on the weekends, and we did Hardcore Heaven 97 against the Dudley Boys. We wrestled pretty much everybody up there, the Pit Bulls. I think I can't remember if we wrestled the Gangsters. I ended up wrestling New Jack a lot in TNA when I was Slash, but yeah, me and Jamie went up there on the weekends because of Tracy Smothers. God bless him. His birthday was yesterday or something like that?
Yesterday, yes.
Yeah. And so Tracy got us up there along with Candido. He helped us get up there, and we go on the weekends. And honestly, we were the one team. We were working for USWA, ECW, and WWF all at the same time. Who can say that?
No, nobody. That's great.
All right. This is the thing I've showed every single time you've been on here. And I want to backtrack a little bit. The first money drawing program you were in was Tommy Rich and Doug Gilbert. When I booked it, they came to me and said, oh, we love those boys, but said, we've been in the main events with Sid and with Lawler and with Brian. That's the demotion. And I
Yeah.
said, no, it's not. I said, first of all, Lawler's not full time. I said, Sid's not full time. I said, you're going with somebody that will be the top team in this territory without a doubt quickly, and you will draw money here. And so they said, well, we'll give it a chance, and it was a great deal. So we have to give Tommy and Doug credit, absolutely, because involving Mama D and Papa D and Beverly Dundee and everybody we involved, it was great. But what really put you on the map, what did the main events, what carried the territory when Lawler was part-time and Brian freaking Christopher had a messed up elbow. He was out for the biggest 3 months in 7 years in the Memphis territory. Brian Christopher was injured and Jerry Lawler was part-time.
And Jeff was gone too. Let's don't forget that. Jeff was gone.
And Jeff was gone too. PG-13 was on top. They had to have dancing partners. They didn't had to have opponents, and thank God for Smoky Mountain. But the Rock and Roll Express, the first meeting, we're going to pick up at the start of this thing. It is worth 20 minutes, folks. This is and I must have gave you the wrong time on the thing, so just keep it rolling, and we'll.
Hey, let me before as we're going into this, can I say something?
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to waste time here.
I don't know if you remember, but I typed out this finish, or I gave it to you and you typed it out. I don't remember how that went, and then I handed it to Ricky and Robert. And unbeknownst to me, I did not know that one of my favorite matches in the world, Randy Savage did the same thing with Ricky Steamboat. They choreographed that WrestleMania 3 match that everybody says was like the greatest match ever, blah, blah, blah. I had no knowledge of that before the fact that, and like I said, I can't remember whether I typed it out or whatever. I gave it to you and you typed it out. But when I handed it to Ricky and Robert, they were like, what the fuck is this? And it was like a sheet of the finish. It wasn't the match. It was just the finish because the finish was kind of long.
Let's watch this match. And that's a good story.
I'm only getting like shots, and I'm not hearing no audio. Something up with that.
I'm hearing the audio pretty loud.
Okay, well, I'm not. I'm just getting still shots and no audio.
Did you hear the audio in the previous videos?
Yeah.
PG-13, yeah. The USWA Tag Champions defending against the NWA World Tag Champions, the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Martin and Robert Gibson.
Along with Dean Hill. Remember Dean Hill? Dean Hill and Joe Wheeler will be in Jackson, Tennessee, will be on September the 21st.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I had Dean on my show. It's been a while, but I had Dean on my show. That was cool. And Joe Wheeler, we have everybody had a thing back then. Nita Drow.
That's the
Obviously,
thing.
I don't have
so
to make
I
any conversation about the Rock and
Joe
Roll
and
Express.
Dean Hill after Danny was on my show. Dean asked if he could come in and get in the dressing room, and I said, "Of course you can get in the dressing room." I like Dean Hill.
Yeah, absolutely, great guy. I saw him. I was at a show near Louisville for Vic the Bruiser. I'm not sure if you remember him.
Yes, sir.
And I saw Dean there. He showed up, and we took a picture together. That was the last time I saw Dean. Yeah, I'm still just getting kind of like still shots and no audio.
that is most often
we'll
said
explain
by people
what's
who step in the
going
ring and
on.
look
That's just a
at
shot in the
PG-13.
corner of now the
But
Rock
these
and Roll
guys are too
Express,
little.
and
What
we
are they
saw
doing in a men's sport?
PG there.
Dean Hill, the
My hair
Yeah.
looks
Louisville
good, though,
announcer,
don't
sitting
it?
here with us.
Do
Dean
what?
Hill, we were just
My hair,
commenting
it looks
about
good.
most
Yes,
people when
sir.
they see PG-13.
Did you get a haircut?
They make the mistake
That
of
was
saying,
I had Wolf in the
"Little
side of it.
team."
That
All
was
Have you
right.
heard that?
that was
And then
very
they get in there
close
and find
to
out.
the WWE thing that Michael was talking about earlier. And Lawler was the one that put that in my hair, so that was close. That was close for this time.
Our buddy Ahmad Jones from Memphis, and he's had to log out of Facebook and log into YouTube because there was no sound or picture on Twitch. He was watching on Twitch. Wolfie, we're all over the place. We're twitching and we're twittering and we're
We're
Facebooking
twitching and twittering.
and YouTube, and that sounds illegal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Michael, this is a hell of a match.
This is now. Give me a date on this. Can we date this?
August 1995.
Yeah.
I was in Los Angeles at this time, so I would have missed this. I think this is the first time I've actually seen this.
And I believe I lied about that, and I will look that up. Greg Campbell was in the house. The blow off, the Sunday Bloody Sunday, was in August of '95, and I'll look up that information of this great event, Night to Remember, in Louisville, Kentucky. It was early summer.
Do you remember what because obviously you can look at that and see the house and stuff. Do you remember what the house was, like money-wise?
I think it was a Sunday night. Here's the deal. It was June the 11th, 1995. June 11th, 1995. At the last minute, the Louisville Gardens came up to me, and it just so happens that we're going to have to switch your date on a Sunday. I said, Sunday, I can't get in. I bitched and moaned, and then I added the Rock, the different thing. So we ran the show on a Sunday, and the night before we did Memories 2 that Saturday night. This is the 25th anniversary of wrestling in Louisville, Kentucky. The 25th, because the advance was sellout worthy. But what happened? Do you remember once we got to the building and we got there early? We rode in a van with Gypsy Joe. You can just imagine what we were doing there. Anyway, that was a crazy night. But we got there, and then the skies fell in. It rained like hell, and I think without that storm, we had a hell of a house anyway. We would have sold it out. That hurt the walk-up.
Yeah. And just by looking at the pictures, because like I said, we're getting. I don't know what the listeners and watchers are getting. But I'm getting still shots. And I remember this was a night where Jamie, he's on the outside there, and he starts throwing up. He had been out all night or whatever, and it's still a great match and not knocking him or whatever. But just a funny story is that he's on the outside and he throws up on the floor. And then I remember Robert walking over to me and kind of he slaps me or whatever, kind of draw me in or whatever. And I think it's already happened by looking at the pictures, but yeah. And so Robert comes up to me, he goes, "Your pussy ass partner's throwing up out there." And I just started laughing. I mean, I tried to hide it, but whatever.
Absolutely a great move.
Great night and great team, and a question of all the people that you had programs with and had great matches. Is this your favorite match of the PG era?
Man, it's my favorite match because like it was a really good match in the house and all that kind of stuff. But I've got other matches that we had that weren't as predominant and didn't get the exposure or whatever. But this, yes, definitely is like I feel like this match made us. I mean, we worked Tony Anthony, Dirty White Boy, who's going into the Hall of Fame with us. Him and Tracy at Smoky Mountain. You remember that? You were there.
Right.
What was it called? The Super Bowl or Super Clash or something like that. What
Super
a great
Bowl
match.
of wrestling.
We didn't have to. We were the heels. I love being the heel. And that was a great match, man. And what a house we had there too. So I have, when people ask me what's your favorite match, it's I have different ones for different reasons. This is a $40,000 house that would beat the Rock and Roll Express. Obviously very cool. But like I said, against Tracy and Tony, great match too. We were heels though, and I really love us as heels. So it's a hard question.
Has some wrestling experience. So both sides.
I want to thank everybody for watching today. This is Talking Memphis Wrestling. We are 18 days away, I believe, from A Night to Remember. We'll have the poster up on the screen in a minute, and you can scan that QR code. $40,000 in 1995 is equivalent to, in purchasing power, to about $82,556.43 today. Thanks to Adam Dunn for putting that up.
So that's a hell of a house these days. And, yeah.
Look at JC.
Eddie Austin from Memphis, big Jerry Lawler fan, says I always put this match on my all-time list of favorites, a tag team classic. Very good match. Not to knock anybody, and they drew a lot of money, but this match was a lot more exciting than the 1971 Jerry Jarrett and Tojo Yamamoto against Don and Al Green.
Who said that?
But they probably had more people in the building, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd say they might have. And the ticket prices were lower. We'd have to do that math again.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm happy to hear that back then it was 40, and if you equivalate it to today, that we drew $80,000. That's awesome.
$82,000.
82. I'll go with
I think
that.
that's what he says. I'll look at it. $82,556.43.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Michael, we got a lot of people watching you tonight.
Boy, we do, and we have a great guest. I mean, anytime Wolfie's on the show, I love talking. Wolfie is so verbose about he has the right words for the right things at the right time, and that's always been a character. He said he loved making promos with the vocabulary and wordsmithing like he does. I could certainly see why. One of the best ever.
Thank you, Michael. A wordsmith. I love that.
He's been called worse by me recently.
I've been called, yeah, like today probably.
Yesterday. Hey, Michael, is the video showing good for you?
Absolutely, it's perfect. I've got it full screen to watch the show. I watch the match itself.
What's your memories, Wolfie, about Andrea? She's getting involved in this match right now.
The only memory of her is Ricky's jokes. What was the one he used to tell? Can I say this on your show?
You can say anything you want to say.
Okay, he would say something about
she is smiling and grinning.
God, what was it? She's got a tattoo, and the pussy ate the mouse or something. I don't know. And there was no tattoo or something like that. I don't know. It was something weird.
Let me tell you.
That is weird. Moving on.
But it's Ricky.
They've held all type of titles as you mentioned earlier here in this bout. But let me tell you,
They know that JC and Wolfie can be a tough task. That's why they're doing
But
all
what
that
a
they can
man!
do, pulling every
Yeah,
kind of
I
stunt that
think
they
this is
can
it.
to
See,
be
I'm
sure
still
that
getting
they
the
can
clips.
get
I
these
think that's
two
what
young
Jamie
punks,
threw
as
up.
they said in
Is
here earlier.
in that
So
part right
easy
there
as
where
that.
she was out on the
Well,
floor with him,
hey,
and Robert came over to me and
you
he's
know,
like,
I can fully
"Your partner's
understand
throwing up on the
that when
floor."
you've been the top
And
dog
Jamie is
for a
back in
long
the
time,
ring, and Robert goes for a
and they
penalty.
bring a new
He
puppy on the
kicks
block, and
out
all of a sudden,
at
after a
2.
little
What do you
seasoning, that
think
puppy
about
becomes
referee Bill Rush?
quite a
Was that
household
He
one?
was
favorite.
good, man.
Then
Because
you
I
start
mean,
to
Randy,
wonder,
think about
wait
it.
a
Back
minute,
then, we
maybe
didn't
better
have.
get rid of
I
these
mean, we
guys.
had
And
Frank,
they start
who I
to
love to
reset it.
death.
And I think that's the case that we have.
But you know Frank's deal
With a front
as far
face
as
lock, there's a
refereeing
tag
and
on
all that kind of
Wolfie.
stuff.
The referee,
And
he
Bill
will
was a
never let
good
it work.
referee, man. He was
He did.
small, which is
And
what you
now,
want. Make the guys look bigger. We all
Ricky
know that.
holding
And
Robert
I think Bill
pitching.
was great. I don't know if
And
you did
JC Ice hits the
or if
deck.
Michael did, but I think Bill was great.
We're 13 minutes past the
My favorite
13-minute
referee of
mark
all time, of course,
into
Jerry
this
Calhoun is
football
in the Hall of
60
Fame
minutes
without a
penalty.
doubt.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
my favorite was
In
always
this
Ronnie
match,
West. I
only
always thought
the
that Ronnie West put the
USWA
boys over better than any
are at
referee.
stake.
Yeah, I mean, if we
The
go back in
NWA
time, I
titles
mean,
of the rock and roll
what,
are not at issue here.
man, what was the
There's a clip.
WCW guy?
Will JC go under?
Pee Wee
Yes!
and
Now, the
Pee Wee
last
Anderson?
time, they caught him with
Who?
a foot before
Was
he
it
could
Pee
ever
Wee
reach him.
Anderson?
Yeah,
This
Pee Wee
time, he
Anderson
was
and
too quick.
what was the other guy,
Got
man,
there
from
and put
WCW
a
that was so
boot
good?
down
The
on
sliding,
Great
the
move,
sliding count he used to
That was
do.
from WCW
Yeah.
back to Georgia Championship. That was Ronnie West because he'd
Okay.
slide in and start the count.
JC Ice rolling
Yeah.
back, makes the tag. Here
Yeah.
comes
And we've
the
all seen. I mean,
Wolfman.
like I said, Frank. You know,
Tommy
Me-
Young. Tommy Young was a great referee.
Tommy Young. That was who I was trying to think of.
We don't want to see this match.
Jerry
disintegrate
Calhoun will
into
be
a
in
street
Jackson,
brawl.
Tennessee as a night to remember.
Yeah.
As
I always thought Tommy
And
Marlin
right at
did
the
a great
last
job when
minute.
he would referee. Of course, he was a county
Ricky
official in
Martin.
Sumner County, but
Now
when
it's
you
a
put
double
Tommy in the
whip.
match and as the referee, that would be an incredible thing.
Backdrop as Wolfie D.
Yeah. And funny, Randy,
on the
talking
board
about
when
the
Ricky
miles
up
that me and
climbs
you
the
and
ladder.
Frank traveled.
Here he comes.
You know,
And
but
Wolfie
Frank
gets
is
out
just
of the way.
let me interrupt you. We're
JC
going
Ice
to
climbs
the all
the
four
ladder,
corners again.
sails
the
down
four-way
We
into
get to
the
the
miss.
end of it as you
Ricky
missed,
Martin.
he's missed. Here comes Robert Gibson,
He misses.
and he misses as well.
Wolfie up.
We'll just do the commentator.
Nobody's
This,
been able
this
to
is
connect.
Wolfie does the backflip,
Did you see
and
that complete
Robert Gibson
front
out of the
flip?
way. Robert Gibson goes
covers
for
it.
a
Referee
pin
down
cover.
one,
That might be Jamie. 1 count, 2 count, a kick out there. That is Wolfie. We're going into the finish of this match, and the people are going banana, somebody says. Sunset flip. And Wolfie
DDT.
has him. A double sunset flip. And a kick out. And now Wolfie drops behind. He goes to roll up. But Andrea sends or throws powder in your face. European count of 1, count of 2, and the referee stops the count because he sees the powder in the
He saw
ring.
the powder, man.
He's suspicious. He's suspicious.
He's got him hooked. 1, 2, 3. He had a 3 count. Gibson goes over. Grab
Robert's
Wolfie D.
running backward DDT.
DDT's Wolfie.
So Rick Morton
What a
has
great,
you
great bout.
covered. Jamie comes in with the hubcap. He puts you on top, a count of 1, a count of 2, and a count of 3.
1, 2, 3, 16.
What a pop.
And here's what I want to say, man. This right here where we're celebrating, that is, I mean, of course we knew we needed to celebrate or whatever, but that's raw emotion, man. That was like, we did it, you know, and you can read my face there. We did it. and holding the belts up, and we beat them. And that was the passing of the torch, man. It was the team of the '80s versus the team of the '90s, and that's what gave us the big push, man.
Rock and roll,
and that's raw emotion.
And nailed them as PG-13.
As we'll come out of it right now, as we continue to get heat, the Rock and Roll Express, and that continues at the Louisville Garden in Louisville, Kentucky. Corey Macklin and Lance Russell did a fantastic job with that. As Adam, let's get out of it.
There goes Rick. Down on the floor where Wolfie
Michael, you start with comments about that great match. Then we'll go to Whoopi, and then we'll do the big time plug for the show. And then we got one of my favorite videos of all times. We're going to show that in just a few minutes. But Michael,
that's an incredible match. That's the first time I've seen it from start to finish. I've seen some highlights, I think, at some point in time, but an incredible match. You know, you're right about the crowd, and I'm watching the wrestlers, and I'm watching how good you guys are working together. And, you know, you guys had a pretty damn physical match right there. And I know you were probably stiff and sore the next day, but nobody got hurt. Nobody blew out a hamstring. Nobody blew out a knee. Nobody broke an arm. You guys made it, and that was as real can get. And you guys made it look just perfect. And then the afterbirth and the attack, you know, the girl gets involved. You're threatening to hit the girl. You never touch the girl. That's protocol. That's the way it's supposed to be done. The boys come out behind her and Pearl Harbor you, and you get heat with the afterbirth. Incredible. You know, you say these guys out there giving, that's a 9-star match, or that's a 450-star match. That's bullshit. That's a 10 right there. The scale is 1 to 10, people. That's a 10. Great match.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Whoopi, real quick thoughts, and then we're going to do the hard sale.
Yeah, I love that match. Like I said, because of the reasons of it and everything. And Michael, I'll tell you something, man. We walked away, you know, unscathed or whatever, and it was a great match. And we just talked about what the house was and all that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you something. I don't know if Randy remembers this. Is that following that, we worked the EMTs. They beat us up, I think like the next week, or it could have been the week after that. I don't know. But we worked the EMTs. We all got color, and the EMTs came out, and they were seriously concerned for us. And we just kept working them. They brought us to the back, and that's what makes the difference, man. If you can make people believe for a second, even the EMTs, the people, whatever, that's what made that shit good, man, is because we did stuff like that.
And I thought the thing I was proud of is I got some color that night too. And when I was being stretchered back to the dressing room, veteran lady wrestler Sarah Lee, who was there, not wrestling, she was there. She was crying. She believed it. She bought it. And she threw up. That's the proudest moment of my life.
That's funny that's the proudest. But yeah, that's a proud moment for me, though, is working the EMTs. Your proudest moment is making Sarah Lee throw up.
I'm writing that one down. I'll use that in a show come the future, I can tell you.
Please don't say that in your Hall of Fame.
But we did, man. We just, I've had matches before where I'd come back from the ring and a guy would be like, were you mad at that dude? I'm like, no, I'm just trying to get heat or whatever, man. It's just what I do, man, you know? So there's still times, I'll say this real quick before we go into this, Randy. To this day, you can still make the people believe, even if it's for 2 seconds, that if it's one move, 2 moves, or the whole match, you can still make them believe for a second. You really can. If you're good at what you do, you can make them believe for a second.
100% right. Go ahead, Adam, and put the super poster up there, and I'm going to do the hard sale. Earn my money now. You can scan that QR code. And folks, the VIP Platinum tickets, will get you into every one of the events. You got to be in Jackson, Tennessee at the Picture Perfect Event Center. It's a must attend on Highland Drive in Jackson, Tennessee. You got to be there. The meet and greet is something at 3:30 in the afternoon, folks, that you can't miss, and you got to be a part of it. As vendors, this will be loaded. You want your wrestling merchandise, you'll get your merchandise. They'll be on sale there, and a lot of the talent will have merchandise table and
Hey,
cool,
let me jump in on this,
cool
Randy.
stuff there too.
I am in the process. I'm not finished yet because everybody knows, I draw and all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have class of 2024 T-shirts available at this show. That's the only place you're going to get them is if you attend the show. A brand new T-shirt. It's going to have it's a drawing by me and Jamie, 15-time tag team champions, USWA class of 2024 on it. And it's going to be cool. I would show it to you, but it's not finished yet, so I'm not going to show it to you. But it'll be there, and if you're there, you can get one.
Night to remember on Saturday, September 21st, Jackson, Tennessee, at the Picture Perfect Event Center at 2310 North Highland in Jackson. Tickets on sale now. The QR code, or if you want to type it in, if you don't believe in those QR codes, go to Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame.com. The ticket prices are $75, $65, $45, and $25. The Hall of Fame will start at 7, but before that, the meet and greet at 3:30. All the Hall of Fame inductees will be in the house at 3:30. You will see all the inductees. They will be there. Plus, Tommy Wildfire Rich, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, Coco Beware, Downtown Good Looking Bruno, Cousin Carl Fergie, great legendary referee Jerry Calhoun, Tom Pritchard's tag team partner in 1985 in Memphis, Pat Rose. Pat's son will sing the national anthem. He is a country music recording artist. Kerry Morton, talk to him today. Kerry, uprising talent in the NWA. He'll be there. Tony Falk, legendary Tony Falk, boy Tony will be there with his son LT Falk. Shane Russell and Dave Brown, Russell and Brown together, they will be in the meet and greet, and they will also host the ceremonies. Reggie B. Fine in the house, Doug Basham in the house, Brandon Baxter, the Power Pro talent, including me and Brandon and Derek King and Kid Wicked and Lance Jade and all that Alan Steele and Blade and maybe Bulldog Greens. The entire KAW crew will be there. This is September the 21st. Then at 7 o'clock, folks, the opening part of the ceremony at 7. This is something that I'm so excited about. It's the rivalry of the lifetime, a rivalry for the ages. Jerry Lawler and Bill Superstar Dundee, talent who has had history with Lawler and Dundee, will be called up on the podium area. That should be interesting and spicy. And there will be 2 majors, and Whoopi, you might know because your buddy Kevin, even though I told him not to tell anybody, he can't help himself. There's 2 presentations, and I'm not telling you what it is. I'm just telling you, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah,
right?
I know what you're talking about. It's going to be awesome, man.
Right now, folks, here is the lineup for the Hall of Fame. 10 people will be inducted in the class of 2024. Nightmare Danny Davis returns to his hometown of Jackson, Tennessee. He will be inducted by his nephew and former WWE wrestler Doug Basham. Danny Davis, the first inductee. The second inductee, I just watched a match from Power Pro of Sermo, Bobby Horn, and Whoopie D, Sir Mo, who will be our guest next Tuesday on Talking Memphis Wrestling. Sir Mo in the house, and he will be the second inductee to the Hall of Fame. Number 3, from Nashville, Tennessee and Pensacola, Florida, it's the Rock and Roll Express, Robert Gibson, Rick Morton. The Rock and Roll inducted by Rick's son, Kerry Morton. Number 4 will be from Jackson, Tennessee. He was the founder and operator of KW. He owned MCW, a successful businessman. And my partner in this venture, Terry Golden, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Can't wait to do this, and I'll let you, Wolfie, I'm blowed up. I need you to do the next one for me. Hopefully you can see it as we go to the Dirty White Boy.
Oh man, my buddy, man. Me and him talk all the time, man. Dirty White Boy, what a freaking cool dude he is, and what a great wrestler he has always been, man. One of my favorites, man. One of my favorites, the Dirty White Boy, Tony Anthony.
Inducted by Dangerous Doug Gilbert, and
Inducted by Doug. Okay, I didn't know that part, so you didn't give me that.
Well, I don't have to give you everything, even though you think I should, but you might learn something here. Michael, you do the next one. It's PG-13.
I'll tell you, one of the most creative, one of the most talented, one of the most groundbreaking tag teams in the history of Memphis wrestling to be inducted. Jamie Dundee and Whoopie D, PG-13, JC Ice, Whoopie D, to be inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame on the 21st. Is that good enough?
Yes, that is absolutely fantastic, and we are going to make the announcement in-house, and we will have the person that will induct them there that night. Number 9 is my friend from Memphis, Tennessee, now originally from New York, Harry Del Rios. Harry Del Rios, the Spellbinder, a member. And we'll get comments from Whoopi about the big, impressive-looking magician, Spellbinder. He will be inducted by the owner, founder, and president of Power Pro Wrestling, ORH himself, Randy Hills. I will do the induction speech there. The Spellbinder, Whoopi.
I mean, that's awesome, Randy. Spellbinder, man. I remember when he first came into the territory. Remember when he had he looked like a construction worker or whatever that was. I don't remember. What did we call him back then?
His name, Harry Del Rios.
That's what we called him with the construction worker gimmick.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Jamie, the 2 midgets, and Mike Anthony, if you remember Mike Anthony, all rode together in a 1993 or something.
Firebird?
No,
Camaro?
A Camaro is what we drove in. And so Dell would sit in the passenger seat. Mike was driving. Me and Jamie in what were kind of back seats or whatever. And then the 2 midgets would sit, like one would sit in the middle and then the other one would sit on the console in between the 2 front guys there. So that was a loaded Camaro back then. And funny story is we were going from Memphis to Louisville. You know, that's a 6-hour drive, I think.
Yes.
And we were doing 100 the whole way because we were late. And we got pulled over about halfway from Nashville to Louisville. We got pulled over and the cop was like, "We've been chasing you boys for 200 miles. They've been talking about y'all." And then he walks up, you know, and there's a bodybuilder, midgets, and 2 weird looking guys in the back with shaved heads. And, you know, Mike looking like he looked and everything. And we ended up getting let go because we told him we had to make a wrestling event. So
Harry Del Rios, the Spellbinder, watching the show, and he was on the show 2 or 3 weeks ago, Whoopi, and he told the same story, so you validated his story because you told it the same way he told it, so that means he told it right, you told it right, unless you had a conference call with him to get your stories together before this show.
No,
And I'm so
true
excited
story.
about. I
True
talked to
story.
Spell about an hour before this show happened tonight, and always very good friend of mine. I'll be honored to induct
I
him
love
into
Dale,
it.
man. He helps
Yeah.
me out. He does, man. I talk to him quite a lot with some of my health issues. He helps me with my diet and stuff. So I
He
always
told
look.
me, yeah, he
Oh,
told me that you really help him and you've lost some weight recently, and that is great. The final inductee that night in Jackson, Tennessee, September the 21st. That is, what did I say, 18 days away. He's from New York City, came rolling into Memphis, TWA. Tell all the ladies Handsome Jimmy's on the way. He's a rocker, he's a roller, he's a little funky too. He was raised by a gypsy, and we know old Handsome School, Handsome Jimmy freaking Valiant.
hell yeah.
Handsome Jimmy Valiant will be inducted in the Hall of Fame, and I left two other people out, and we will do those. Whichever one you want to go with, Adam, go with them. Wolfie,
Dr.
take care
John.
of this one. Wolfie, take care of this
Tom
one.
Pritchard, man. He's trained. I mean, the people that he has trained is a list of, I mean, Hall of Famers and people that have made a huge impact on the wrestling business, man. I mean, first of all, The Rock, you know what I mean? Tom is awesome, and I was so thankful to have him as a friend when I lived in Knoxville. I could call him up, and me and him would, go do things together. And just as a wrestler, you put us in a program with him and Jimmy Del Rey before Jimmy passed, and as the Heavenly Bodies, they were awesome. And Tom's just great, man. He's a great dude, man.
No doubt about it. I want to come back on screen if I could, because I don't know why I get this asked so many times, and I don't know why people are so fascinated about this. Put Dave's channel, and we won't spend much time on this because we don't have much time left in the show. Dave Channel says, "Can you ask Wolfie who was the biggest ribber in the business?" Answer that as quick as you can.
Biggest ribber, man. I mean, I feel like I got ribbed a lot by Tommy, but it was like ribs that I didn't even know they were ribs at the time. If that makes sense.
Those are the best kind.
But otherwise, man, I don't think I got ribbed by anybody that bad. I mean, I've heard stories of bigger, ruthless ribbers, and Steve Kern would probably be one. And you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. And there is in the Tennessee.
Can I mention Jerry Lawler's name? I mean, Lawler could rib with the best of them.
No, he could. And we all played that game. Randy, you remember the war game where we drive up and down the road and throw stuff on each other's windshields?
Right.
Yeah, and that was a thing. And Brian was one of the biggest ribbers on that. He'd open a yogurt and throw it on your windshield, and you know what, your wipers don't do no good when yogurt's on your windshield. So that was a thing, and but I don't even really consider that ribs. That was just us having fun, and we didn't have cell phones back then, and that's how we kind of killed time, was just fucking with each other.
We'll finish with the guy that is a co-host of this program every Tuesday night, inducted into the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame as yours truly, Michael St. John, and the people doing the inductions will be his co-hosts on Tuesday night, Pat Trammell, who's not here today, and Chris Ellis, who's not here today, but they'll be in Jackson, Tennessee. Michael St. John, do you know this guy? An honorary inductee will be your person that does the induction. I'm sure he'll stagger into the camera shot, and that will be certainly your grandson, Joshua. You looking forward to it?
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait. 18 days and counting for sure. And, if folks have, if you're, anywhere close to it, I mean, it's a full big event of activities. It starts at 3:00 in the afternoon. Hey, you could leave anywhere within a 300-mile radius. You're invited. I mean, this is going to be incredible. And the things that you've got lined up and you've shared with me, Randy, and having people like Wolfie and the like, I mean, it's incredible. And Dr. Tom Pritchard and Wolfie, I'm going to add this. I said this when Tom was on with us a few weeks ago. of all the color commentators I've ever worked with in the history of my broadcast career, my absolute favorite, without a doubt, is Dr. Tom Pritchard, because nobody can fill in the holes like he can.
Tom's so smart, man. He's such a smart guy, man. I mean, he really is, man. He can come off with the just most intellectual shit when he says it. You know what I mean? And I'm proud for you, Michael, and I can't wait to see you get inducted at the Hall of Fame, man.
Thank you, Will. God bless you, buddy.
Want to play one more videotape. This is in the cyberpunk days. This is in the cyberpunk fire days. This is in a feud with the cyberpunks feuding with Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. This was when Whoopi D had lost a loser leave town match, and all of a sudden here came cyberpunk fire. Bill Dundee do what?
That wasn't me. That was Cyberpunk Fire. It wasn't
Bill Dundee had lost a thing, and don't tell me that he wasn't the American Eagle, because he was. And your lies fixing to be exposed as we go back and watch this video.
Right. A scramble, and you can see Cyberpunk Fire pulls Lawler out. Lawler was determined he was going to have him out of here, Corey, and the way he was going to do it was beat him.
Still shots and no audio, man.
Right there in the
this
ring.
is a 16-minute video. Hopefully, when we get out of the match angle, you will see the thing.
And I hope my phone don't die, man. I've got it plugged up, but my charger's all weird and stuff, so I hope my phone don't die. Is this where I beat Lawler?
I don't remember.
I think the one time I beat him and I did win the belt from Lawler, I think this might be it. And I held it for like 2 days, and then y'all took it off of me on Monday.
Downtown Bruno is the referee. Appreciate everybody. A ton of people watching. Hope you enjoyed. This show will be available in the archive. I want to answer a question with Frank. Frank asked if this is going to be available in video and on YouTube or any streaming service, and we're working on that, and when we have information to announce about that, there's certainly a possibility that we will do that.
Fire right there. Fired back. Stops him, yeah.
Hey, don't forget we drove a $40,000 house.
83,000 in
83 in today's numbers. Yeah.
Get it right, please.
I'm sorry.
That's more impressive. 83,000.
Yeah.
To save our lives, and referee Downtown Bruno.
Memphis the night before, the Saturday night before, did 27,000.
Whips him into the corner.
The very first Memphis memory, March the 4th, 1994, did 30,000.
Yeah, and that would be huge numbers today. And I remember you booked us against, me and Jamie wrestled Handsome Jimmy and Super Mario. And the funny story is that I just went on vacation in Myrtle Beach a couple weeks ago, and I was in this store, and it had, people that had been in there. Most of them were musicians and stuff that gave their 8x10s and signed them and stuff like that. And then I looked up in the top corner, and it was Super Mario, and he had a signed picture up there. I just started laughing. It was funny.
At the opening match, and I can remember in Louisville, on the same card you wrestled the Rock and Roll Express, the opening match was the worst match I believe I'd ever seen. It was Super Mario against Gorgeous George III. Tell the people about Gorgeous George III and how many laughs we got, what he did when he would pass us, me, you, and Frank on the interstate.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, he turned his he'd go fast and he'd see that it was us, and he'd turn on his inside light and he'd wave, and then he'd pass us and then he'd slow down and go back past us, and then come back against us again, turn on his light and wave again. Strange dude, good guy though, man. I mean, he really is. He was a good guy, and I mean, Hey, you got to give it up, man. When Doug was out and he stepped in Doug's place with that Rich and PG Doug feud, he stepped in and he did his job, man. He did good.
We were worried at the time that Eddie Gilbert had passed away, and then Doug, I gave him as much time as he wanted off, and we had to make the decision of where to go from there, risking the situation that we had it hot, and we were a little worried, but we put Robbie in there, George the Third, and it continued. It didn't hurt it at all. It just made it that much better when Doug came back, don't you think?
Absolutely, man. I mean, like I said, Gorgeous George III, Robbie Eagle, whatever you want to call him, he did a great job, and he was a hell of a worker, man. Great technician, and then just whatever his gimmick was, even though it was kind of a copycat or whatever, but it was good, it worked, and he came in and did his job, man. And then that night when Doug came in, when he finally came back and did the ether on Jamie and all that, it was great, man. Everything's about timing, and you know that. I'm not telling you nothing you don't know, but just the timing of everything was so good, man. And all the shit that we did through that little run that we've talked about pretty much this whole episode here, timing's everything, man. And it just all worked out, man. You got the book. We came back, from that first day when I came back from Mexico first, and then Jamie came back. I was supposed to tag with Spike Hubert that night, and I don't remember if it was a shoot injury with Spike Hubert or whatever, but then they played Ice Ice Baby, and Here Comes Jamie, and the people just went crazy, and that was where we really got it going. We beat the Eliminators, and then the Tommy and Doug, and some of the ones in between that we ain't even talked about, the Gambler and Brickhouse Brown, the Phantoms, the Mephisto and Dante, and just people like that, man. It just kept propelling us, and then we got with Rock and Roll, and that put us over the top. The WWE debut, and then the Smoky Mountain USWA feud. I mean, that's we've said this before, but the company was not doing good business in 1993 and 94, and then all of a sudden it got really good, and it was because of the roster. I'm not saying it was because of me and Jamie. I'm saying it was because of me and Jamie and Brian and Spell and all the people that were on the roster at that time. And your booking is what kept Memphis Wrestling around. The last territory closed down, straight up.
Now this match was seen, and you might see in the still shots. Michael, I'll ask you the question: you might have been programming a radio station somewhere? Do you remember Wolfie? Even though he says it wasn't him, just look. I think it's obvious. I was being tricked as well, even though Bill Dundee said I was part of. He thought that I was part of the daggum trick, but I didn't know it either. He was Wolfie D when I dropped him off at the hotel when we got to Memphis, and then when somebody showed up with an ass and said it's Cyberpunk, I certainly wasn't a part of this conspiracy.
I honestly don't remember. Again, I was in Los Angeles when all of this was going on, so I wasn't getting the shows. But this guy looks sort of slim and suave. He's got a good physique. I think it could be a double or maybe a stunt double of Wolfie D. Maybe.
Stunt double sounds good.
Hey, is this Ashley Hudson you're wrestling?
It looks like Ashley. I was just thinking that. I was like, Bill's in short tights. And I was like, no.
Come on, Ashley. Here we go. This is it right here, baby. Oh! Yeah.
Lawler's doing the cover. How much of this can you see, Wolf?
It's still shots and no audio for me. I don't know why that is. Whatever.
And Lawler's doing the commentary, and you got to win as the Cyberpunk gets the 1, 2, 3, and that was a very good match. It was Ashley Hudson as he's leaving the arena, and now Jerry Lawler is
Come here for just a
calling
minute.
Cyberpunk
Now let's not
fire.
have any extra.
Do you know the segment we're about to see, Wolfie? Because it's one of my favorites of all
He
time.
don't want to have any more. He don't want to have any more fighting
maybe
with
when
me.
I
can
see,
assure you
like I
that,
said, I'm
Lance
getting
Russell.
still shots, so maybe I might
Look at him,
remember
just
once
look
I
at
see
the
some of
difference
this.
between he and I. Look
But
how skinny he is.
when you say that,
If you
no,
put a dime on his
right
head,
off the
he'd look like a
bat.
nail.
He's done pretty well
Look
for
at that
himself.
body. Yeah, I don't know how. Does Sally Struthers still send you food?
Let me get around here.
Huh? Now listen. You think you got one over on the king?
He started
But nobody
off by
gets the last
asking
laugh
you,
on me.
said,
Do you understand that?
Does
Because
does
you Wolfie
Sally
D, are the
Struthers
man who
still
cost
send you
me and
food?
Bill Dundee
That was
the
his
tag
joke
team
to open it
titles.
up.
We're the rightful champions, but now there's two other clowns running around here with a belt. Oh, you're real proud of that, huh? You think that's real funny, don't you, huh?
Just got a
Well, let
text
me
from
tell you
Del
something.
Rio.
Like I said,
Hey, he said
nobody gets the last
he
laugh
thanked
on
me
me.
for the plug
Certainly
and said
not
I
an
look
idiot
good.
like you.
You look good
Somebody
too,
is so
Del. I
stupid
love
to
you,
sell
man.
his car for gas money. Do
Oh,
you know he
isn't
did
that
that one
sweet?
time, Lance? Huh? He did. Now, not only have you made me mad, Wolfie,
He's
you made
helped me
a
on
lot
my
of
diet,
people
man,
mad.
and the
When
stuff that I
you-
can eat and all that kind of stuff.
When you
Like I
cheated
said, I'm down
and got a
20 in
victory
like a
over
month,
my
so that's
partner,
pretty
Bill
good.
Dundee, and he was an honorable man. He left
Lawler
the area.
said that
it was
he-
a loser
Coming to the
league
Hall of
contract.
Fame
your
looks
He's
like
not-
car for
he's
gas
not like
money.
you. Snake in the grass, come back, not a man of his word.
I mean,
Liar,
I
that's
remember
all
this
you are.
now looking at
Well,
it,
I've
but
been
I
getting
don't
phone
remember the
call
words
after
and all
phone
that kind
call
of stuff.
from Bill
But
Dundee's
this
friends.
is where
He's got a lot of friends
what
just
was
like
it?
me. From
Monday
friends of Bill
I
Dundee.
beat him
Oh yeah, he's
for the
got
belt
friends,
or whatever,
brother,
but
and they
then
know
I
you
think
did
I only
wrong,
had it for
and they've
like
been calling.
a couple of
They've been ringing
days,
my
and
phone off the hook.
y'all took it
They
back
wanna
off
come
me
in
and gave
here,
it back to him.
and they
I
want to
think.
get
I don't
revenge
remember.
for what you did to Bill Dundee. And so you know what? Oh, bring him on. You want to bring him on? All right, I just happen to have one of them here
Pretty cool.
today.
One of the only
Okay,
times I
we're
ever
gonna
beat
bring him out
Lawler.
here right now if you
Yeah,
want
it
to.
was a great.
This is just a
Big
good
deal.
friend of Bill Dundee's,
There
and he
is-
is sick of what you've done to him.
Just
And he,
no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It was just,
yeah, come here.
just
American
There's
Eagle.
Bill.
Come on, man. Come on.
So here comes Dundee as the American Eagle.
Dundee right there. And who are you but Wolfie D? And if it wasn't for that long drink of water, you'd be gone because the king beat you. And you have to get mad at me because I can beat you. This man beat you.
Beat anybody.
I beat you and I beat you.
Wolfie
You
D.
can't. You know he's take that.
So it's craziness. Dundee's out there. You're shoving Dundee. Lawler's shoving you. You're shoving Lawler out. Lance Russell is trying not to get hit.
You know it's Wolfie D. And you got the guts to face me.
One of my favorite pictures that I have, man, as a memory of wrestling is Lance standing next to me. I don't know what interview it was, but it's me standing next to him, like yelling or whatever. And it's a cool picture, man. It's one of my favorite pictures of my career, man. It's just being able to stand next to Lance.
Hey, at this point, to interrupt you, I come out and I tell you to shut up, and I tell Dundee to shut up. Now I just pushed you, and I am upset with you. I'm upset with Dundee. I'm upset with Lawler, and I'm yelling at everybody.
You're a comedian. You think you're funny.
Well,
You think you can be.
stop yelling at everybody,
You came
Randy.
out- You shut up. You came
I
out
just
with your
told Dundee and
checkbook
Lawler to
last week
shut
and
up.
You thought it was real funny, didn't you? You thought you tricked him. You thought it was real funny. And then
You're bossy,
when
Randy.
He pulled the trick on
That was
you.
what I was
What
paid to
you
do.
did, like a big baby, you pissed
Not
your
very
pants.
well, I might add.
I'm sick of you coming out interfering with my television show. Man, you're sick of all of it.
Now I
I'm
told
sick
you
of all of it.
right now, I said I'm sick of you. I said you shut up too. I'm sick of you coming out and interfering with my television show.
Right now, I want all of you to know you work for me. You work for this USWA. I'm tired of the tricks. I'm tired of this. This has been going on since September. It's been going on for a long time. When you pulled a knife on the guy, and
Now I said to the American media, I said this started when you pulled a nice knife on the guy and I fired your ass.
Then he came back to you.
And that was the truth.
Bill Dundee.
It was the truth. And if anybody hasn't seen it, go to YouTube and look up Live in Color with Wolfie D knife fight. I did a animation on there that's pretty funny that tells the story in the back that was true, but there was no cameras to shoot it. So I made a video of it and drew it. It's pretty funny. Michael St. John, you need to go see that.
I'll change the card coming up.
I will
and you
do
two
that.
guys
This-
want to
I
come
love.
out
I'm listening
after
to
each
this
other,
this
that's
dialogue.
room
Randy
in
is on
in
fire. I
Louisville.
love
I'm
this.
sick
Why
of
didn't
it.
you tell
So
me
you
to
can,
take the mask
you can
off
take the
first?
mask
Tell
off
me.
if you can, and then I'll
Glory
put the match.
days.
I'll tell the referee not to
Pass
even be
me
in the ring or
by,
close to the
glory
ring, and
days.
then I
Bruce
don't care
Springsteen,
if
baby.
you kill each other. I don't care.
I'm trying to
Sell it man
find that
man.
YouTube
Take the
video,
mask
Whoopi,
off
to
now,
send it to you, but I
Dundee,
can't
and
find the
tell
darn
you
thing.
That's the order.
What about him? What about him? Why me first? Why me first, Russell? Because he said so.
So now
Oh, 'cause
I'm
he said so.
saying,
Russell.
I'm demanding you both to take your
I'll
mask
tell you
off.
what, both of you take it off at the same time.
I'm saying
and
you
then
both
we'll
have
see
to take
when
it
this
off at the
dead-gum
same
bull will be
time.
over.
I said, this
bull will be over. Dundee,
games
I'm telling
ain't
you,
gonna
and
last
I'm telling
anymore.
you.
So Dundee is unmasking, so is Whoopi, or so is Fire.
Now you're telling us he takes the mask off, and then he gets a match with this idiot with no referee in the no referee.
So the stipulation is that if you take the mask off, no matter who it is, then you have an upcoming match Monday night with no referee. And I said, I hope you kill each other.
Awesome.
I love it.
Both of you take them off and let's end this thing.
Randy, we should have had a
Dude.
USWA logo on your back of your jacket.
Make sure
Yeah, that'd look good.
It's undone. I know how to take
Well,
my
take it off. Let's see it.
I don't want both of you wasting too much time.
Oh, they're tying up the masquerade out, and now it's a brawl. Whoopi D, it is Whoopi D. He just lied to you people. He said it wasn't.
It wasn't me.
fun, but it is him. And now the brawl happens, and they're fighting back to the dressing room.
And the minute
This
the
is
masks come off, they're
craziness.
at it again. They have been fighting like this forever. Lawler out
As
there
Lance
trying
says,
to
they've been
separate
fighting
it.
like this
Whoopi coming
forever.
back right down
Hey,
on
let me tell you, those were
Dundee.
stiff working punches, man. Me and Bill always
as he
threw
runs him
stiff
out.
working
Whoa,
punches.
right
I
out of
promise
the
you.
studio.
If people say those punches look
That's
good,
out
there's a
into
reason.
the production preparation
They were
area
good.
right outside of the studio.
Al Tuttle
We're
just
sure
sent
not going to
me
go out and get in the middle
the
of that,
video
but the
that
camera
I
is.
wanted. So, Al, it's not here yet.
Take it
Sorry.
away, Wolfie D. That mask is off. American Eagle Dundee, that mask is off. And I'll tell you what we'll do. This one is
Now they're
long way
fighting
from
back
being over
out
with,
there. This
but
is
for
a
the
personal
moment, we're going to
issue
take time
that
out. We'll be back.
started with real bad feelings and Dundee being fired.
Yeah.
We could go into that, and there's no reason to go into that. But I wish you were able to see it. Al, I have not got that email yet. It has not came. We'll start with you, Michael. I am assuming you have never seen it. You, unlike Whoopi, were able to see it, I'm assuming. So that now that we have you where no video, where it's talking over you, what did you think about that craziness to set up Dundee and Whoopi?
Personal issues sell. And that was a personal issue between you and Dundee and the mask and the blow off in Louisville. I mean, they got people in New York, they're paying millions of dollars a year to write that crap. And you guys did it on the fly. It's mind boggling of how good what we had and what Memphis professional wrestling, what the USWA, the CWA, what that all was. It's a tribute to not only everybody in the Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame, but for the whole business. It's incredible now that Memphis wrestling has been gone for almost 30 years, 25 years, and people are appreciating it more than ever. And when you see stuff like this, when you see what we've seen with the match with you and the Rock and Roll Express, and now what we see with the angle with you and Dundee and the mask, that's incredible stuff. I mean, Hollywood producers can't come up with this for millions of dollars, and you guys were coming up with this on the fly. It's incredible. It's incredible. And it's things like this that I know the history of Memphis that brings me back to this show every week. Not only am I with my friends, with Randy and Coach and with Pat, but it's things like this and the things we uncover, and it's like opening a new treasure chest every week. You don't know what you're going to get, and then you see something like this, and you get gold. It's amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
Hey, We have gone overtime. Fantastic show. Thank you, Whoopi. We do a thing every single week with our guests and our panel, the final take of the show. So, final roads, and do me a go home. This is my instructions to you. Show some fire and do a go home promo for Jackson, Tennessee on the September 21st. Meet and greet at 3:30. Ceremonies at 7 at the event center there in Jackson, Tennessee. So
A
final
go
words and a
with fire
promo from
promo.
Whoopi D.
A go home with fire promo. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, please, September the 21st, Jackson, Tennessee, please come out. Please come out and see the Hall of Fame, Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame. The greats are going to be there. The greats before me and the greats like me. JC Ice, Wolfie D, to the P, to the G, plus the 1 and the 3. That means JC Ice, and I'm Wolfie D. We ain't playing no games, so you better beware. You don't like us, so what? We really don't care. We're Hall of Fame 2024. Please come out and see us. I know my family's going to be there. My friends are going to be there. And I really want to see all my fans that made this possible. Honestly, couldn't have done it without you. All the people that came out and made that $40,000, $80,000 house that we had is because of you people. And you know who I'm talking about. There's friends out there that are watching this, and there's friends out there that will see this. And I love all of you, and I want to see you there, man. Thank you. September 21st, Jackson, Tennessee. Come see us.
You sold some tickets. The only other thing, you have to tell them about that QR code. You forgot that. You got to tell them to scan that damn QR code.
And the damn QR code.
There it is, right there, the QR code. Whoopi, you were a great guest. I'll see you on September the 21st. Are you coming on? Are you coming in on Friday?
Nope. I'll be there. I'll be there Saturday, man.
All right. Thanks for joining the show. You were going to have me guest on your show again, but once again, you have that fucking Kevin Lawler for the second freaking time. And I'm
I'll get you on next week. You got to ask Jimmy, though. You got to ask Jimmy.
Oh, screw that. Hey, I thank you for coming on. Appreciate it very much. Great job.
Love you. Michael, love you too.
Same to you, man. Can't wait to see you. Love you, brother, and stay healthy. Our prayers for you to stay healthy. And Randy, you just dropped an F-bomb. What are you trying to do? Be Cornette? My gosh, we got to keep that.
That's not the first time that I've said fuck on this show. You know that.
I know that.
Most of the time, you are the one that causes me to say it, talking about modern wrestling, and sometimes my fear is I don't want people to think I'm like Buddy Wayne.
Well, I don't think you're like Buddy Wayne. I'm sorry.
I
don't put that connection together. Prima donna, son of a bitches.
I'm going to let Michael in just a minute do the last take, and after his last take's over, I'm going to let him close the show. But first, Adam, I want to go to the captions there, as you would follow me on that. So I'm so excited that this Monday night, now last Monday night, there was no Power Hour. I did the Randy Hell show, and it was great. Downtown Bruno was the special guest. Next Monday night, my special guests are Rick and Carrie Morton. Rick and Carrie Morton. Rick from the Rock and Roll Express. That's on September the 9th. On September the 10th, a week from today, next Tuesday, will be From Men on the Mission, the Regulators, and Harlem Nights, and everything else. Sir Mo, Bobby Horn, and just confirmed today on the Tuesday before our event, the 21st, our guest, Dangerous Doug Gilbert, will make his first appearance on the show. So folks, we're going home the right way. That's what, and I'm looking for a special show, even though we might have to sneak him in. I'm looking for Dave Brown, who will co-host the Great Ceremonies with Shane Russell. Here's Michael St. John for his final take, and to close us out, I'm gone for today, folks. I'm out of here. And Michael, take us home We're rounding third, headed to home, and here's Michael St. John.
Yeah, the great words of Joe Nuxall on the Reds broadcast. Thank you, Randy. Let me tell you, it's shows like this that make me and everybody out there coming back. Wolfie D was fabulous, as he always is, a very, very bright person and an extremely great talent. And to have him here for this length of time, God bless you, Wolfie. We love you. And Randy, you've done a great job putting this together. But let me tell you, it's now on our fans. And fans, this event is a once-in-a-lifetime event. It will never happen again. It will happen one time in Jackson, Tennessee. And that is an absolute slam dunk. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony at 2310 North Highland at the Picture Perfect Event Center in Jackson. It's loaded. I would say it's a loaded card. It's a loaded event. And some of these, the greatest thing about this is we're all coming together in a great moment with great pride and with great honor and friendship to everybody. You know, you get to a point in life, I hate to say it, it's at my point. My dad used to say, they'll get a point in your life when you know you're getting older, you'll go to more funerals than you go weddings. And I had a dear friend of mine, the editor of the newspaper here in Arab, Alabama, Charles Wisenan, who's been a very dear friend of mine since day one. His wife suddenly died today. I mean, the woman had no problems. And this morning she woke up and she was fine. And by 3 o'clock this afternoon, she'd gone to her reward. And my heart goes out to Charles and his family. But I know you folks have probably seen it and have had this happen in your life. But this is a ceremony. This is a happy event. This is an event that you're going to love. I can't wait to be there to see all you folks and to see all of my friends. So Randy Hales has put together a masterpiece. I can't wait. And for folks, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, the sooner you got them, the better it's going to be. Get them, lock them in, and scan that QR code or go to the website and take care of business, because this, again, is going to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'm honored just to be there. I'm just honored to be there. So we look forward to seeing you there. For Randy Hales, for the Whoopie D, I'm Michael St. John for Memphis Wrestling, right here talking Memphis Wrestling. A big so long, everybody.
To remember, Saturday, September 21st, the Picture Perfect Event Center, Jackson, Tennessee. Memphis Wrestling Hall of Fame ceremony comes to Jackson for the first time ever. The Rivalry of the Ages presentation to Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee. Also, Handsome Jimmy Valiant, the Rock and Roll Express, Danny Davis, and tons more. Exclusive meet and greet at 3:30. Event to follow. Go to MemphisWrestlingHallOfFame.com to purchase tickets. Saturday, September 21st, Picture Perfect Event Center, 2310 North Highland, Jackson. A night to remember.
Memphis Wrestling with Randy Hales and special guests.